Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine for a moment a quintessential American scene. This bustling kitchen, right? Steam rising from pots, the rich aroma of garlic, simmering tomato sauce filling the air. Carmela Corleone, hands deep in dough, kneading out ravioli for a big family dinner. Sounds idyllic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. A snapshot of domestic bliss, yeah. Tradition, simple comforts.
But then, just a few feet away, behind closed doors, her husband, Vito Corleone, he's strategizing with his capo.
Those top lieutenants, yeah.
About the brutal high-stakes politics of the underworld. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the foundational, often turbulent years of one of fiction's most iconic families, the Corleones, drawing extensively from Edward Falco's novel, The Family Corleone.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how these early chapters, which sometimes get overlooked in the broader saga, they peel back the layers of the legendary facade.
Right.
They reveal the very human ambitions, the gnawing fears, and the brutal realities that shape this dynasty from its nascent stages. We're going to explore the incredibly complex web of relationships, how family bonds are tested, twisted, and, let's be honest, often weaponized by the demands of a burgeoning criminal empire. We'll examine the brutal politics of the underworld that dictate their every move, and maybe, most compellingly, the incredibly personal stakes involved for every single character caught in this unfolding saga.
Yeah, from the patriarch right down to the youngest kid.
Exactly.
That's right. Our mission today is to extract the core insights and some surprising details from these excerpts, offering you a shortcut to understanding the critical, nascent stages of this criminal enterprise. You'll gain a truly nuanced perspective on figures like the calculating Vito, who's often quite enigmatic, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely. Enigmatic is a good word.
And the impulsive, fiercely loyal Sonny, the ever-attentive Tom Hagen, and, of course, the terrifying and utterly unhinged Luca Brasi.
Can't forget Luca.
No way. We're going to look at everything from their intimate family life, the domestic sphere that tries to keep up some semblance of normalcy.
Tries being the operative word.
Right. To the gritty street-level grind and the high-stakes power plays that inexorably shaped their world. All of these threads are deeply intertwined, creating this tapestry of ambition and danger, and that's where it gets really interesting. So let's start where it all begins, at home. You might assume the household of an olive oil importer would be all about straightforward, legitimate business.
That's the front, right?
Exactly. But what Falco shows us immediately is a profound, almost jarring contrast. Vito Corleone, the patriarch, holds this very clear, almost surprisingly noble vision for his children.
Indeed. Vito's stated ambition for his sons, particularly Tom and Sonny, is for them to be successful in completely legitimate businesses.
Right, like law, automobiles.
Yeah, he speaks of them becoming lawyers or entering the burgeoning automobile industry.
Yeah.
He explicitly states his desire for them to be like the Carnegies and the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers.
Wow. Big names.
Huge. This isn't just some casual wish. It's a deeply held, articulated aspiration for generational wealth, social standing, respectability, all to be achieved outside of his current, decidedly illicit operations. It's a desire for a different kind of American dream, one perhaps denied to his own generation.
And that's precisely where the inherent conflict, the central paradox of Vito Corleone really kicks in.
Yeah.
Here's a man who's openly operating in the shadows, building his empire through ruthless means, yet he's articulating a legitimate future for his kids.
A future he seemingly wishes for them, even as he deepens his own roots in the criminal underworld. It's quite something.
We see this vividly when he's at the Long Beach compound, which at this point is still under construction.
Right, it's not the fortress it becomes later.
Not yet. He's reassuring Carmela about the children's future, projecting this image of security even as he internally acknowledges a profound truth. A man could never feel entirely safe in the world he's carved out.
That hits hard.
So it raises this important question for us. Is this a genuine, heartfelt aspiration for his children to escape the life he built? Is it about their happiness and safety above all else?
Or is it maybe just a calculated shield?
Yeah.
A public facade designed to protect his underlying activities and provide a respectable front.
Could be. The novel highlights his desire to be in that Long Beach compound before trouble starts, indicating a very calculated foresight.
Right. He's essentially building an escape hatch, a fortress, and a respectable front all at the same time. It embodies the very duality he hopes his kids can avoid.
It's a truly complex duality, isn't it? A fascinating study in parental ambition.
It really is. He understands the inherent dangers of his path, the constant threat of violence, betrayal, and while he's deeply, inextricably involved in it, he seems to genuinely want something different. Safer, more socially acceptable, ultimately more secure for the next generation. And this vision, it directly impacts his sons, but in really disparate ways. Well, Tom, the adopted son, he's pursuing law, right? Seems to align perfectly with Vito's legitimate aspirations. Yet Sonny's being brought into the business in a very different way than Vito initially described. It's almost as if Vito recognizes Sonny's natural inclination towards the rougher side of things.
Maybe sacrificing one vision for another, more pragmatic reality.
Could be. There's this constant push and pull between the life he's living and the life he envisions, a tension that just ripples through the entire family.
And at the heart of that home life, often silently bearing the brunt of this duality, is Carmela Corleone.
Ah, Carmela.
She's the true matriarch, embodying tradition, providing stability. We see her mixing dough, making ravioli, tirelessly hosting those huge, boisterous family gatherings.
The very picture of Italian-American warmth, yeah.
But beneath that domestic calm, there's this constant, almost suffocating hum of worry that the narrative just makes palpable.
Her worry for Vito and for her children, particularly the impulsive Sonny, it's a pervasive, melancholic undercurrent throughout these early pages.
You really feel it.
You do. Despite being shielded from the explicit, brutal details of Vito's olive oil business, her skepticism about its true nature is palpable, despite his reassuring words.
She knows something's not right.
Oh, she knows. And she's constantly, subtly attempting to influence her children's paths to steer them towards a safer, more conventional future. We see this in her quiet, almost desperate conversations with Tom.
Like when she tells him.
She implores him. Mama spends her whole life worrying about Pop. But how about her children, Sonny? She doesn't have to worry. Are you hearing me? Hot shot.
Wow. Hot shot.
Yeah. It's not just a mother's nagging. It's her attempt to gently yet firmly steer him. And by extension, Sonny, away from the life of violence and crime that looms so large over their household.
And her disappointment when Michael considers changing his school report.
Right. Because he wants to align himself more with the family's reality, not the academic pursuit of legitimacy. It reveals her deep-seated fear that the business is already reaching its tendrils into the younger generation.
And those small, almost reflexive gestures of hers, the stern "stas it."
Which is like a forceful, be quiet or shut up.
Yeah, when Connie screams or the quiet crosses she makes herself after Richie Gatto's death during the parade, these aren't just moments of discipline or religious observance. They powerfully emphasize the underlying tension.
The ever-present danger that permeates the house, even amidst the most mundane domesticity. She's valiantly trying to maintain an illusion of normalcy to create a sanctuary.
But the weight of their world, the constant threat of violence, it's clearly a heavy emotional toll on her.
Absolutely. Her plea to Vito about Sandrinella.
Sonny's intended bride, Sandra.
Exactly. It implies her deep hopes for a legitimate, stable future for her children, a future away from the business that consumes Vito. She constantly tries to remind them of faith, of traditional values, family.
In the face of the dark pull of their father's world?
Precisely. And her worries are, tragically, not unfounded. They are directly linked to the very real dangers her family faces, which, as we'll see, inexorably sets the stage for the narrative's escalating conflicts.
She sees the danger in Sonny's impulsive nature.
And tries to push him towards a more traditional, respectable path. It's almost like she's engaged in this silent battle with destiny, or maybe with Vito's own unfolding design for their lives.
And then we have the Corleone children themselves, each navigating their own distinct aspirations and the harsh realities imposed by their family name. Tom Hagen, for instance.
Tom, the adopted son.
Profoundly loyal to Vito, almost as if he's trying to earn a place he wasn't born into.
Definitely feels that way.
Yet he's still seen by the more volatile Sonny, somewhat dismissively, as merely a college kid.
Tom's situation is indeed complex. It's a testament to his emotional intelligence, his resilience. He does everything to please Vito, showing this almost unwavering devotion.
So he knows.
He's acutely aware that he will never be Vito's son, in the traditional sense. This creates an emotional landscape where he's perpetually trying to fit in, to prove his worth.
Even as his intellectual, legalistic approach often clashes quite dramatically with the raw, street-level realities faced by Sonny.
Completely. And his past trauma, that moment, he says to Sonny, "I'm going blind, Sonny."
Such a raw confession.
It contributes to Sonny's view of him as frail, an intellectual rather than a man of action. And this whole dynamic, it raises an important question, deeply resonant in the novel. What did it truly mean to be Italian in America during this period?
Right. For Vito, it meant leveraging their marginalized status to seize power in the underworld.
But for others, like Michael and potentially Tom, it meant trying desperately to assimilate, to transcend, or even escape the pervasive stereotype of organized crime that just clung to their heritage.
Right. Michael's journey is particularly telling, isn't it? Such a poignant struggle with identity.
It really is. Initially, he's portrayed as an idealist, interested in politics, aspiring to be a congressman, maybe even a senator.
The legitimate path.
Totally. But then he learns about this horrifying incident, the lynching of 11 Italians, most likely innocent, simply because they were Italian.
And the line from the novel.
Because you're Italian. There's never been an Italian president. This brutal revelation shifts his perspective dramatically.
Understandably.
He moves from wanting to do a school report on Congress to considering Italian-American veterans of the Great War, which is a deeply significant recognition of his heritage, sure, but also a retreat.
A retreat from that overt political ambition that suddenly feels impossible or maybe too dangerous for an Italian in that era.
It's a moment of profound disillusionment, a turning point in his understanding of the power dynamics at play.
And then there's Fredo.
The middle son.
Who openly, almost wistfully dreams of working for Pop in the business.
Yeah, he eagerly desires to be a salesman or something for his father. It highlights a different kind of aspiration within the family, a desire for acceptance, for inclusion, for participation in the very world Michael's trying so hard to distance himself from.
It's fascinating how different they all are.
And these internal family dynamics, these personal ambitions, they're constantly being tested, reshaped, often shattered by external pressures and conflicts, often in ways that the children, and maybe even Vito, can't fully control.
So the home, far from being a simple sanctuary,
becomes a crucible where destinies are forged and ambitions frequently collide with the brutal realities of their surname.
With those complex internal family dynamics now laid out, let's turn our attention to Sonny Corleone. His coming of age, particularly in the Family Corleone, is depicted as this wild, often reckless ride through love, lust, loyalty.
It really is. Sonny's personal life, even at a young age, is an incredibly complex web of relationships that truly define his character and, well, foreshadow his future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We see his youthful curiosity and impulsiveness from very early on. His fascination with Kelly O'Rourke. First glimpsed as just a white-pink flash of skin and a shock of red hair from her apartment window. It hints at his burgeoning desires, that youthful recklessness that will follow him.
But this innocent, almost voyeuristic fascination quickly spirals into something far more complicated and dangerous.
Doesn't it just? Kelly becomes pregnant by Luca Brasi.
The terrifying figure we'll definitely get to.
And later has a relationship with Tom Hagen. This intricate tangle of relationships. Sonny's initial interest, Kelly's violent encounter with Brasi, her later liaison with Tom, it shows a very different, more morally ambiguous side of Sonny's world.
Yeah. One far removed from the traditional family values his mother tries so hard to uphold. It's a glimpse into the casual betrayals and chaotic personal lives that often underpin the criminal underworld.
It does. It not only highlights his youthful curiosity, we see 17-year-old Sonny looked up to the curtained second-floor window with this youthful eagerness, but it also unexpectedly showcases his protective instincts, especially towards Tom, despite their playful banter and Sonny's sometimes dismissive attitude.
That's true. There's loyalty there underneath it all.
And then there's his more traditional courtship with Sandra, Mrs. Colombo's granddaughter.
Right, the respectable match.
He claims, I'm not getting to first base till she sees the engagement ring, which is such a starkly different tone, presenting this public image of respectability and traditional values.
And their interactions, like Sandra's shy smile blossoming into a full, wet, delicious kiss, they contrast so sharply with his secret affair with Eileen, Cork's sister.
Who he refers to, maybe jokingly but still tellingly, as my Irish whore.
It's a relationship shrouded in secrecy and illicit desire.
These varied relationships reveal truly different, often contradictory facets of Sonny's character, don't they?
Absolutely. His traditional courtship with Sandra, overseen by her watchful grandmother, indicates a desire for social legitimacy, family approval, a nod to the expectations placed upon him as Vito's son.
Playing the part.
Sort of. Yet, his passionate, illicit affair with Eileen highlights his rebellious, impulsive, and ultimately self-gratifying nature. a stark contrast to the disciplined path his father attempts to carve.
And Eileen's family's disapproval.
Where some of you mix have it in for Italian so bad, reveals that pervasive social landscape of ethnic tensions and prejudice that permeated everyday life, even in personal relationships.
Made such a pairing deeply scandalous, dangerous even.
Extremely. And critically, his personal entanglements, particularly those involving Kelly O'Rourke and Luca Brasi, they lead directly to serious mob conflicts and significantly impact his reputation within the family, as we'll soon see.
Yeah, this is where his personal life directly and violently intersects with the grim realities of the business.
Exactly.
Speaking of the business, Sonny's initiation into it is equally revealing. It's certainly not a sudden event. He's not oblivious to Vito's true activities.
No, he's had an early, almost visceral awareness of his father's operations since he was a kid.
He vividly remembers being 11-year-old Sonny on a fire escape, looking down through a window and into the back room of a beer joint by the piers, witnessing clandestine activities.
Seeing things he shouldn't have.
And he even asks Tom, with this knowing, almost cynical tone, "You think Mama really believes that Pop's in the olive oil business?"
Exactly. Sonny clearly wants to be seen as more than just a kid, right? He wants to be taken seriously in this world of power and illicit dealings.
You see his early role as Jenko's bodyguard at a meeting with Mariposa.
Where Vito insists he say nothing, but simply be present.
Right. And this isn't just a casual assignment. It's a deliberate, calculated move by Vito to bring Sonny into the fold.
To expose him to the inner workings, but crucially, on Vito's own carefully controlled terms. He tried to teach Sonny discretion, observation, strategic thinking.
Qualities that stand in stark contrast to Sonny's naturally impulsive and aggressive nature.
It's a delicate, almost impossible balance Vito is trying to strike, hoping to mold his son into a strategic leader rather than simply a brute.
And that tension between Sonny's innate impulsiveness and Vito's desired strategic thinking is huge.
Oh, massive. We see his fury disappeared and he laughed after discovering Tom slept with Luca Brasi's girl.
Such a quick swing from anger to amusement. It reveals his volatile nature.
It does. And Vito's lesson, delivered with a sternness that belies his usual calm, "We're not animals, Sonny," is this crucial attempt to curb that raw aggression.
To teach him about strategic thinking versus just lashing out in fury, a lesson in restraint.
That Sonny perpetually struggles with. But then, in a moment of unexpected candor, Clemenza yells, "Vi Falco!"
A blunt, derogatory Italian phrase, basically, go F yourself.
Yeah. Is Sonny toe at Sonny for calling Vito Pop during business? This isn't just about decorum. It emphatically highlights that Sonny still has a lot to learn about the strict protocols, the seriousness, the brutal compartmentalization required in their world.
He's not quite there yet.
Not fully. This section truly sets the stage for Sonny's eventual full immersion into the criminal underworld. But it also, perhaps tragically, hints at the very qualities, both his fierce impulsiveness and his undeniable, albeit sometimes reckless, loyalty that will ultimately be both his undeniable strength and his fatal downfall.
Okay, now let's talk about a character who casts a truly chilling, almost primordial shadow over everything in this narrative. Luca Brasi.
Ah, Luca.
Yeah.
Even his physical description is terrifying, almost primal. It evokes this sense of ancient, unbridled menace.
He's depicted as this immense, almost monstrous figure, deliberately crafted to inspire terror.
The text describes him as well over 6 feet tall, with thighs like telephone poles, and a chest and shoulders seem to go right up to his chin.
That's head.
His massive head, dominated by a protruding brow over deep-set eyes, making him look explicitly like Neanderthal man dressed up in a gray pinstripe suit.
Just the image alone.
It's powerful. This almost inhuman physical presence, combined with his chilling, well-earned reputation, amplifies his effectiveness as an enforcer. The sources are clear. Everybody in the city feared him.
Even someone as established and powerful as Giuseppe Mariposa.
Even Mariposa. It's a fear born not just of his strength, but of his unpredictable and extreme violence.
And his physical presence is just the beginning. It's his internal landscape that is truly horrifying. The sources tell us his headache, this constant companion, quit as soon as the shooting started.
Which offers this incredibly disturbing psychological insight into his character. It's as if violence is his natural state, his normal, a twisted form of relief, maybe.
Or even a cure for his afflictions. Nico's reaction to seeing Luca, "Son of a bitch, I wish Sonny were with us," speaks volumes about the immediate, visceral fear he inspires.
Even in seasoned criminals.
Absolutely. And then there's the almost casual description of his entrance into the garage, looking like he was dressed for a dinner date at 1 a.m., completely unfazed by the hour or the brutal task ahead.
This quiet, almost mundane description of his appearance, juxtaposed with the visceral fear he instills and his monstrous actions, only adds to his mystique and profound terror.
It's a chillingly calculated calm.
It makes his brutality even more unsettling. It suggests a mind fundamentally detached from conventional human emotion or morality. He's not merely a violent man, he is a force of nature, unyielding and relentless.
And that brutality, it's beyond just professional. It veers into absolute unhinged madness.
Oh, completely. The sources detail his horrific, almost legendary history, pushing Mr. Lowry off a roof, murdering mothers, fathers, and infants.
And even his own father and son.
Yeah.
These aren't just rumors, they are explicitly presented as facts. It paints a picture of unimaginable depravity.
These perverse acts, like threatening Philomena, the midwife, to throw a newborn baby into the furnace if she didn't first throw in the whiskey.
It's sickening.
It illustrates a depravity that is truly unhinged, yet paradoxically possesses this twisted, almost instructional logic within Luca's own mind.
Which raises an important question for us. What truly drives such extreme, indiscriminate behavior? Is it purely unhinged, senseless violence?
Or is there a strange, calculated logic to his actions? Like the gruesome message he sends to Mariposa via the murdered Grizz, designed not just to kill, but to instill maximum paralyzing terror.
It's hard to say.
The narrative also gives us a fleeting, almost disturbing glimpse of something akin to human emotion. His strange surge of feeling and near tears after Kelly O'Rourke's death.
Despite his brutal hand in it.
Right. This fleeting moment of vulnerability is quickly suppressed, indicating a deeply disturbed, perhaps even broken psyche, but one still capable of a perverse kind of internal reckoning.
He's a terrifyingly unpredictable force, pure, raw power and violence personified. He throws Kelly O'Rourke down the stairs, beats her, even when she's pregnant with his child.
An act of shocking cruelty that confirms his complete lack of moral boundaries.
It's clear he's not merely a dangerous man, but a dangerous wild card, a ticking time bomb. So given all this, why would Vito Corleone,
Someone so strategic, so controlled,
so focused on legitimacy for his own family, go out of his way to bring this man, this il diavolo, this devil, as Luca himself claims to be, into his inner circle?
This brings us to the recruitment of Luca Brasi. It's a pivotal moment that reveals Vito's extraordinary depth of understanding of power and human nature, even its darkest corners.
After Luca suffers an overdose,
Vito visits him in the hospital. He observes Luca's brain damage, noting that he can still talk and all, but slower, like he's stupid.
yeah,
Yet Vito sees past this apparent debilitation.
he sees the potential value.
Exactly. He offers Luca not just protection, but employment, promising to skillfully drop charges and make a witness disappear, stating with calm authority, this whole incident will be behind you.
Vito is offering Luca salvation in a way, or at least a dangerous new purpose.
He is. It's astonishing. Luca, in his disturbed state, even seems to recognize the monstrousness of his own being. He asks Vito, "Don't you know I'm il diavolo?" The devil.
And questions why Vito, a man of such strategic acumen, would associate with him given his horrific, documented past. He lists his murders in chilling detail. Mothers, fathers, and infants. I've murdered my own father and my own son.
It's a confession almost.
And Vito, in response to this self-identification as the devil, simply pays him a staggering $15,000.
Which shocks Clemenza. Right. Clemenza, always practical, often brutal, is utterly shocked, blurting out, "Manag."
Which is like an Italian, damn it, or for God's sake.
Yeah. "Why don't we just kill him?" he asks. And Vito, chillingly but logically, replies, "Nothing would make the man happier."
Wow, that's cold.
This exchange is a masterclass in Vito's strategic thinking and his ruthless pragmatism. It's not just about accumulating power through brute force.
It's about control and strategic consolidation through the unconventional.
Exactly. Vito is utterly willing to overlook Luca's extreme psychopathy, his brain damage, his history of horrific violence for one singular purpose: utility.
He sees the asset.
He recognizes that Luca doesn't have to be smart to be profoundly effective. And while he states with calculated caution, we'll see, when asked about controlling Luca, he's clearly willing to take the immense risk.
This reveals Vito's character as someone who fundamentally transcends conventional morality.
He possesses an almost Machiavellian ability to leverage fear as a weapon, to integrate even the most dangerous, unhinged individuals into his growing empire.
It's about turning a terrifying liability into an indispensable, terrifyingly effective asset.
A tool of such raw power that few dare to challenge it. This moment cements Luca's role as the Corleone's ultimate deterrent.
So Luca Brasi is now firmly, terrifyingly, a part of the Corleone world. And with him comes an immediate escalation of existing tensions.
Definitely. The underworld in this era, particularly during the twilight years of Prohibition and the looming threat of its end, is constantly shifting.
Marked by intense rivalries, especially between the established Irish gangs and the rising Italian influence. It's a volatile melting pot of ambition and prejudice.
Precisely. We see this dynamic acutely illustrated in Donny O'Rourke's impassioned, venomous speech in Paddy's bar.
You can almost hear the anger.
Oh, yeah. He laments how Luca Brasi and P. Clemenza and the rest of those Dagos,
Yeah.
a deeply offensive and derogatory term for Italians.
Awful language.
But it shows the sentiment, how they've systematically taken over the policy business. That's the illegal lottery, the gambling, the women, the booze, everything.
It vividly highlights the deep racial and territorial tensions of the period.
The Irish, feeling displaced, humiliated, economically dispossessed, express this desperate desire to fight back after having stood for it for too long.
And Donny uses a litany of deeply offensive terms.
Guineas, greaseballs, scangeli eaters. It underscores the raw, seething prejudice and resentment that fuel these territorial battles. This language, while abhorrent, is crucial in the novel for depicting the harsh realities of ethnic conflict in that specific historical context.
And this raises an important question for the Irish gangs. Is their pride, their fierce desire to reclaim what they feel is theirs, a strength? Or is it ultimately a fatal flaw when facing a more organized, more patient, and undeniably more ruthless opposition like the Corleones?
That's the key question. Pete Murray, a more pragmatic figure among the Irish, offers starkly different advice. Take a lesson from the Italians.
Meaning be patient, plan strategically.
Exactly. But Willie, Donny's brother, he's all for immediate impulsive action, declaring, we need to do it now. Driven by this blind rage rather than foresight.
And this impatience.
Fueled by desperation, pride, a sense of betrayal, it directly leads to their ill-fated, almost suicidal attempt on Luca Brasi's life.
It's a classic clash, isn't it? Old world honor versus a new world strategic, brutal efficiency.
Absolutely. The Irish rely on raw emotion and numbers, while the Corleones, through figures like Luca, employ cold, calculated terror.
And what an attempt it was. The O'Rourke brothers planned to ambush Luca, believing him to be vulnerable after his overdose, seeing it as a rare opportunity.
Willie, Donny's brother, is described as having this lunatic aggression during the shootout, a raw, uncontrolled fury that ultimately makes him reckless and ineffective against Brasi's focused violence.
It's a stark contrast in tactical approaches. The Irish are impulsive. We need to do it now, Willie says, driven by this visceral need for revenge.
While Luca, despite his own well-documented madness, executes a precise and terrifying message, rather than simply engaging in a chaotic shootout.
What does he do?
During the ambush, he methodically kills Grizz point-blank, beats Tomasino, and kidnaps Nicky Crea, ensuring his chilling message reaches Giuseppe Mariposa directly.
The description of Grizz's death.
His hat floating on the water. It's particularly haunting, a macabre detail underscoring the finality of Luca's violence.
And Luca's decision to spare Tomasino and Nicky, initially anyway?
It isn't a show of mercy. It's another calculated display of power, a way to ensure his message is delivered personally and terrifyingly, creating maximum psychological impact. He even tells Tomasino, Grizz was part of my message for Joe, so he has no doubt about who he's dealing with.
It's psychological warfare as much as physical.
Totally.
This incident immediately and violently escalates the broader mob conflict, directly bringing the Corleones, through Luca's brutal actions, into Mariposa's direct sights.
Right into the crosshairs.
Speaking of Mariposa, he's another key player in this shifting underworld, with big ambitions that clash directly with Vito's long game.
Giuseppe Mariposa. A powerful and arrogant figure. He aims to run every fucking thing in the whole city once Prohibition inevitably ends.
And his target.
Explicitly the Corleone's olive oil business, which is code for their entire network and their lucrative connections. He holds this deep, dismissive contempt for the Corleones.
Sees them as small-time nobodies.
Even calling them finotis, a deeply derogatory Italian slur, roughly equivalent to a homophobic or effeminate insult. It underscores his utter disdain.
But Vito sees him differently.
Vito sees Mariposa as stupid, an idiota, Adolf Hitler, someone who, like the dictator, is not stopping till he has it all. This indicates that while Mariposa is powerful and aggressive, Vito perceives him as dangerously predictable and overly ambitious.
Someone whose greed will be his undoing.
Exactly. And he also notes that Mariposa is stupid, but his capos are intelligent. A crucial distinction.
And this is exactly where Vito's cold, calculated genius comes into play. He understands Mariposa's weaknesses.
His overconfidence, his predictable ambition.
And he strategically plans to exploit them. He plans to use Luca Brasi as a terrifying deterrent to leverage Frankie Pentangeli, whose loyalty is dubious.
As Mariposa himself suspects, calling him a fat-bellied pig behind his back.
And even the small-time punks hijacking Mariposa's whiskey to his own profound advantage.
Vito's understanding of friendship here is not about genuine affection. It is a profound tool for power.
It's about forming strategic alliances, building strength, even if it means paying off cops and judges. As he shrewdly observes, the more cops and judges we have on our payroll, the stronger we are.
That is the true foundation of his power, not just muscle. Vito's patience is truly remarkable here.
While Mariposa is focused on immediate dominance, public displays of power.
Vito is thinking about the long run, the strategic positioning for post-prohibition power. He's willing to give Mariposa the punks who are stealing his whiskey.
A small, deceptive concession.
While deliberately stalling him on Luca Brasi, withholding his most potent weapon until the moment of maximum impact. This sets the stage for the public confrontation at the parade,
where all these simmering tensions, rivalries, and carefully laid plans come to a violent, defining head.
Vito's ability to manipulate situations and individuals, even those as dangerous as Luca or as volatile as Mariposa, is his true chilling genius.
All these simmering tensions, strategic maneuvers, deep-seated animosities, they culminate in this defining, pivotal moment, the parade.
Yeah, a public display that, with terrifying speed, transforms into a horrifying battlefield.
The setup is almost ironically peaceful. Vito brings his entire family, including Councilman Fisher, the police chief, attending a public parade, seemingly a celebration of Italian-American heritage.
It's Vito meticulously projecting an image of legitimacy and public respectability, but beneath the surface, it's deeply fragile.
He's there with Luca Brasi as his personal bodyguard.
A walking embodiment of his hidden power.
And Sonny as Genko's bodyguard. It shows the blend of public life and private warfare, the constant proximity of danger even in plain sight.
The chosen location, amidst a festive public event, underscores just how deeply intertwined their criminal activities are with their everyday, ostensibly civilian lives.
And Cork's foresight, recalling the O'Rourke threat. They've got a nice Irish surprise coming to them when he spots Pete Murray and the Donnellys.
He sees them with one arm thrust under his trench coat, a clear, ominous signal of the impending violence. It's a stark reminder that even moments of apparent peace are riddled with peril.
And explode it does. Brutal, sudden violence.
The attack is chaos, described vividly in the novel. There's a sudden, jarring silence as the first shots ring out.
A heartbeat of suspended terror.
And then renewed, deafening gunfire. Richie Gatto, Vito's loyal man, sacrifices himself without a moment's hesitation.
Shielding Vito and his family, dying tragically in Vito's arms.
Vito himself is shot in the arm. A wound that, while not immediately life-threatening, signals a profound shift in his vulnerability.
The immediate impact is devastating, isn't it? Ripping apart that veneer of normalcy.
Completely. Sonny is quickly handcuffed by the police, Angelo is arrested, and Cork manages a desperate escape through the panicked crowd and underground tunnels.
And the media frenzy that follows.
Immense. Described as the biggest story since the Limburg kidnapping, highlighting the public shock and the pervasive narrative of Italian-American criminality.
Richie Gatto's sacrifice is such a powerful moment. It signifies the paramount importance of loyalty within the Corleone family.
Bond so strong it can compel a man to offer his life.
And the brutal, unsparing reality of their world, where even public events can turn into battlegrounds, shattering any illusion of safety or legitimate social standing.
It's a brutal lesson in the cost of their chosen path.
It truly solidifies the dangers inherent in their lives. And for the Corleone family, especially the younger generation, this event has a deeply hardening, almost transformative effect.
You see it immediately. Carmela, ever the protector, is deeply relieved. Vito is okay, but profoundly saddened by Richie's death, crying as she makes the sign of the cross.
She desperately attempts to shield Frito and Michael from the brutal truth, the sensationalized newspaper headlines.
Even telling Michael in this desperate attempt to maintain appearances, everything with Italians, it's always the mafia. Would a mafia know congressmen like your father does?
trying to deflect from the grim reality to preserve their innocence even as it crumbles around them.
But the reality of their father's life irrevocably infiltrates their world, regardless of Carmela's efforts. Fredo, ever eager to prove himself, is angry at missing the action.
Wishing with all his might that he could have protected his father.
Thinking with this desperate intensity, if he'd had the chance to save his father from being shot, everybody'd see. He was 15 now, he wasn't a kid anymore. It shows his desperate desire to prove himself, to earn respect in this brutal environment.
And Michael's reaction, perhaps the most significant, a true turning point for his character.
Absolutely. He learns about his father's true mafia connections from the lurid details splashed across the newspaper, shattering his naive idealism.
His initial interest in being a congressman
Shifts dramatically. He gives up his report on Congress, saying he'll find another subject, perhaps Italian-American veterans of the Great War. This isn't just a casual change.
No, it profoundly suggests his evolving identity, his understanding of his heritage.
A turn away from assimilation into mainstream American politics, and towards a more insular, perhaps more dangerous path, acknowledging the deep-seated prejudice and the specific, often violent realities his family faces as Italian-Americans.
These reactions, from Carmela's grief to Fredo's desperate anger and Michael's profound shift, emphasize the deep personal toll of their chosen path.
And for Sonny in particular, it leads directly to his next irreversible steps into the heart of the business.
So after the harrowing parade attack, Vito Corleone doesn't just react impulsively. He initiates a cold, calculating master plan for control and consolidation.
Exactly. He shifts gears immediately.
And the very first step of this plan involves a brutal yet deeply significant elevation for Sonny.
This is a crucial, almost ceremonial moment for Sonny, marking his true initiation. Clemenza presents him with a silenced gun.
A tool he personally disliked.
Right, because he prefers a big, noisy gun. Better to scare anybody who gets ideas. But the silenced weapon signifies something different. A calculated, precise, discreet act of retribution.
Clemenza tells Sonny, despite their shared past, that Bobby Corcoran has got to go. He shot your father.
It's not a question, it's a directive. This cold, hard act solidifies Sonny's place as an enforcer, forcing him to cross a line of no return.
And then a toast.
Clemenza offers a powerful toast. You're one of us now, Sonny. Sant'Anni. An Italian blessing meaning 100 years, symbolizing long life and prosperity, but here.
It's also a blessing for his new lethal life within the family.
And Vito silently joins in, acknowledging Sonny's full, undeniable entry into the criminal world.
This moment truly raises an important question for us, and maybe for Sonny himself. Is he truly one of them now? A hardened member of the family business?
Or is he still, at heart, a bambino, a child, despite the brutal act he's tasked with?
Vito had explicitly told him earlier, we're not animals, Sonny, trying to instill a more strategic approach.
Yet this very act forces Sonny to embrace a deeply animalistic, primal side of the business. It's a contradiction that will haunt his character.
The gift of a silenced gun, which Clemenza personally disdains, subtly implies the nature of the task and Sonny's new, less public, more lethal, ultimately more dangerous role.
This event marks a point of no return for Sonny and fundamentally alters the family's direct dealing with adversaries, transforming them from targets into active, brutal avengers.
And Vito's response to the crisis extends far beyond just Sonny's initiation. His immediate, decisive action after the shooting is to move the entire family to the Long Beach compound.
Right. This compound, still unfinished, becomes not just a safe house, but a symbol. Vito views it as their true business, a place where a man could never feel entirely safe.
This highlights Vito's profoundly pragmatic response to crisis. He doesn't seek immediate emotional retribution, which might be Sonny's inclination.
No, he focuses on strategic advantage, on consolidation and control, preparing for the long game.
He's always playing the long game, isn't he? Even when chaos erupts.
Always. His calm instruction to Luca to pack everyone for Long Beach, even with a terrified Connie crying in the background, shows his unwavering focus amidst turmoil.
He also immediately commands Tom and Hats to bring $15,000 to Luca Brasi,
further consolidating his critical assets, ensuring his key enforcer is taken care of and ready.
His core philosophy, revealed time and again, is his focus on long-run strength through systematically paying off authorities. The more cops and judges we have on our payroll, the stronger we are.
That is the true measure of their power, not just their muscle.
He even deliberately impersonates Mariposa with a whiny voice when explaining why he agreed to Mariposa's terms for a meeting.
Saying, Mariposa called this meeting hoping I would object. He wanted me to refuse. Then, when he comes after us, the rest of the families will get the message.
It reveals Vito's mastery of psychological warfare, making his enemies believe they are in control even as he subtly manipulates them into his traps.
It's all about control, perception, and projected power.
His continued, unwavering trust in Luca Brasi, despite Luca's perceived brain damage and violent tendencies, is a testament to Vito's unique, unconventional vision.
Luca remains profoundly useful, precisely because he scares Mariposa.
Vito's cunning plan is to give Mariposa the punks who are stealing his whiskey, a small, seemingly cooperative gesture,
while strategically stalling him on Luca Brasi, keeping his ultimate terrifying weapon in reserve.
This highlights Vito's extraordinary ability to see beyond conventional morality and leverage raw fear as his most potent weapon.
It's true, Jenko comments that Luca gets dumber every day, and Tom observes that he's wandering around like a zombie, but Vito's firm, almost chilling stance is, he doesn't have to be smart.
This raises an important question about the true nature of power in this brutal world. Is it defined by brute force alone or by calculated manipulation?
By the strategic use of fear and influence, Vito clearly believes it's the latter.
He controls Luca not by conventional means, but by managing a literal force of nature.
Stating pragmatically, we'll do our best to keep him alive, as if Luca is a volatile, essential tool that needs careful handling. It's a terrifyingly cold, yet undeniably brilliant strategy.
One that ensures the Corleone family will not only survive, but thrive in the shifting underworld.
These meticulous moves consolidate Vito's power, position his family for the inevitable post-prohibition landscape, and underscore that for the Corleones, their business is inextricably intertwined with their personal safety and future.
It's a relentless, ongoing conflict, a constant game of chess.
And Vito's vision is clearly for ultimate victory and unchallenged control, ensuring the dynasty's survival for generations to come.
So what does this all mean for us as we navigate these early formative years of the Corleone saga? From these pages of Edward Falco's The Family Corleone, we've seen the Corleone family not just as a criminal enterprise, a simple mob outfit.
No, much more than that.
But as a deeply human drama. It's a compelling narrative woven with ambition, unwavering loyalty, genuine familial love, and the brutal necessities of survival.
It's a world where the warmth of family dinners coexists, sometimes uneasily, with the chilling reality of deadly plots.
And where personal dreams constantly clash with dangerous, unavoidable realities.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it highlights how power is consolidated not solely through raw, visible violence, but through intelligence, through profound patience, and crucially, through the ruthless exploitation of every asset.
No matter how volatile or morally ambiguous.
Exactly. The narrative vividly shows us the constant, often brutal negotiation between the desired domesticity and the inescapable underworld, shaping these characters in profound and often tragic ways. It reveals the true cost of power.
Exactly. We've seen Vito's almost paradoxical long-term vision for legitimacy constantly battling the immediate violent necessities of his underworld life.
We've witnessed Sonny's impulsive initiation into these brutal realities, Luca Brasi's terrifying effectiveness as a weapon in Vito's arsenal,
the escalating conflicts with rival gangs, and perhaps most poignantly, the deep personal cost for everyone involved.
From Carmela's silent, pervasive worries to Michael's profound and altering shift in aspirations. It's a family built on paradoxes.
A dynasty forged in the crucible of conflicting desires. In this world where loyalty is paramount and family business dictates everything from public image to private lives, consider this. Is it truly possible to escape one's origins? To break free from the mold of the family?
Or does the family's dark shadow eventually envelop even the brightest, most legitimate aspirations, pulling every generation deeper into its inescapable grasp?